Now, I made a similar video to this in the past, so I'm very interested in hearing what this fine individual has to say. I think that Guild Wars 2 content creation is a bit dull at the moment, to say the least, and it's all because ArenaNet is really trying to push a certain narrative. I'm very interested in hearing what he has to say.
It was one comment that made me think about this whole topic. Guild Wars 2 needs more content creators. And honestly, I agree. Guild Wars 2 is one of the best MMOs I've ever played.
Yes.
Full stop. It's also one of the hardest games to build a YouTube channel around. Now, how can both of these things be true? Because if you've spent any time in the community, you've probably heard people say things like, Guild Wars 2 has one of the best communities. The game respects your time. There's always something to do. It's still alive after all these years. And I genuinely believe every single one of those statements. So why is the content creation scene still relatively small? Why do so many creators eventually disappear? And why?
Because ArenaNet doesn't let them create anything new. That simple. That simple. The moment you step out of line, ArenaNet will wait for you there with a bat and a hammer. And you bet you're gonna get one of them. To the face. No qualms whatsoever. They're just gonna let it raw. It is what it is.
Why does it feel like every Guild Wars 2 creator ends up making...
Yeah, also, as far as I heard, ArenaNet partner program is so debilitating and it's so aggressive on what you can and cannot say. It's quite literally impossible for an ArenaNet partner to make a great video.
Same...
Oh, Rose, you're here. What a surprise.
...kinds of videos. Today I want to talk about the reality of creating content for Guild Wars 2. Not just on YouTube, but to some extent on Twitch as well. This isn't meant to discourage anyone from becoming a creator. Quite the opposite. I love making Guild Wars 2 videos. But after creating content for quite a while, I've noticed some patterns that almost nobody talks about. So grab a cup of tea, sit back, and let's have a more relaxed discussion.
I wonder if he's going to talk about a real thing or dance around the issue.
All of my supporters for making these videos possible. And if you
I'll
enjoy
make
this
it
kind
a
of
little
discussion,
bit,
consider subscribing so you don't miss our future Guild Wars 2 content here on the channel. Now, with all of that said, let's start with how people usually describe Guild Wars 2. The game has an amazing community. It's alive.
Until you disagree with them. The moment you disagree with them, something bad happens. And you don't want to know what the thing is. I've seen it. I've lived through it. And it's not that great. But, generally speaking, the community is amazing. Generally speaking, the Guild Wars 2 community is great. And I know that the vast majority are truly, genuinely great people. But the loud minority, oh brother, they are loud.
If you look at Steam reviews or simply log into the game, you will notice that even beginner maps still have plenty of players running around. That alone is impressive for a game that's been out for so long. And then there's one of Guild Wars 2's biggest strengths. It respects your time. You can take a break for months, come back and still feel like you can jump right back in without having to catch up to an endless gear grind. I honestly think that's one of the best things ArenaNet has ever done. And because of that design, there's usually always something you can do. Achievements, collections, fractals, legendary crafting, competitive modes, this goes on. So naturally people often say, just make good content, there's so much to talk about. And on paper, they are completely right. So why doesn't that translate into a thriving creator ecosystem? Why does Guild Wars 2 have fewer larger creators than any other MMO that doesn't even seem that much bigger? That's where things become more complicated. The first thing we have to understand is that YouTube doesn't reward passion, it rewards demand. The algorithm doesn't care if...
Kinda true, kinda don't. It's a mix of both. It's a mix of both. You can definitely be passionate about something and make it work, but you need to make it work in the right way.
To covering your favorite game. It cares about what people are searching for. It rewards things like frequent uploads, trending topics, drama, big updates, evergreen tutorials, news people have to click. Guild Wars 2 naturally creates much less of all of that. Let me explain.
It creates much less all of those for a reason. It's not like it's not an MMORPG and it doesn't have drama, it doesn't have any other thing. It has all of that. There's a reason for why it doesn't create that.
A bit further. Take World of Warcraft. There's almost always something happening.
Okay, to be fair, he's kind of right about that. Blizzard are notorious for creating stuff for everyone to point fingers and laugh at. He does have a point here. As a WoW player, I agree. I agree.
PTR updates, class tuning, expansion announcement, race to worlds first, balance changes, community drama, challenge runs. There's a constant flow of topics that creators can immediately turn into videos. Final Fantasy XIV is similar. Huge story expansions, lore discussions, raid races, reaction content, community theories, even all the story moments.
Do this in Guild Wars 2. Do that. Like, why don't we have this? Like, do it. Great. Awesome.
Keep generating views because new players experience them for the first time every day. Guild Wars 2 works very differently here. Updates are smaller, the expansion schedule is much slower or not as big. There isn't a gear treadmill pushing everyone towards the next best item. There aren't many moments where players feel like they absolutely need to watch a video right now. And that's actually great game design for players, not necessarily for...
That's not true. You have a ton of things to talk about Guild Wars 2 related. And the game has been piling on expansions for like over a decade at this point. You have plenty of things to talk about. And the things that are beautiful about this game, you can barely find. You can't even find a Mordorama fight, one of the best meta event world bosses I've ever seen in MMORPG history. You can barely find a fight on it on YouTube that's above like the quality of 480p. Barely. And there's a reason for that. Like, there's just a reason. It's not because there's no demand. It's because people refuse to open themselves to other crowds.
YouTube, but Guild Wars 2 is a huge game. Absolutely, you can make guides for almost everything. The problem is, the game is also over a decade old. Many topics already have guides, multiple. Some are...
My brother, World of Warcraft exists for over 2 decades, and Classic Plus is getting content creators to milk it to this day. What are we talking about? This point is just plain invalid. It's just wrong.
Outdated,
Straight up.
Some are still perfectly fine, and some simply aren't needed anymore because
if there's a will, there's a way.
Already know them, and even new players might have a guide in game now. Let's say I uploaded a new guide today. Maybe another creator covered that exact topic 2 years ago. Even if my guide is more accurate right now because it is up to date, uses newer strategies and explains things better, many viewers will still click the creator they already recognize. That's not because my guide is bad necessarily, it's just how YouTube works.
Good, then stop making guides and make something original. Solve that problem for you. Easy as 1, 2, 3. Just like that.
People trust familiarity, especially in smaller communities. So yes, Guild Wars 2 has plenty of content ideas, but it doesn't always have enough search demand to support dozens of creators making those same videos. Now we get to what I think is one of the most interesting parts. Guild Wars 2 players often say we need more creators, and honestly, I couldn't agree more. The game deserves more creators, it deserves more videos, more discussions, more perspectives, but here's the paradox. Most viewers only watch the videos they're already interested in, which is completely normal. That's how all of us use YouTube. Maybe someone only watches build guides, someone else only watches update videos and news, someone else...
Nobody does that. If you think like that, then you're completely lost. Nobody thinks this way, people aren't monolith. There's not a single person on planet Earth that only watches video guides. If that person exists, then he needs to be institutionalized. People watch a variety of stuff. YouTube has a plethora of options to offer you. What are we even talking about here? This is just, again, it's just false. It's just straight false. Nobody's only going to watch a guide. If you're only going to watch a guide for Guild Wars 2, you're gonna watch like 5 YouTube videos and that's it. It's wrong. You think people like don't search for any fun content? You think people don't search for anything other than guides? Like, they're not talking about, like, they're not looking for discussions, they're not looking for, you know, like, patch notes, they're not looking for meme videos. No. Of course they look for it. They don't actively look for it. YouTube algorithm does need to push it, but they do look for it.
Only watches tier lists. The result is that every creator is competing for a very small slice of an already small audience. And then there's something else I've noticed. Guild Wars 2 has a fairly casual player base, we all know that. Not in terms of skill, I mean in how they engage with the game. A lot of players simply play. They don't spend hours on YouTube, they don't browse Twitch every evening. They don't watch 40-minute discussions about game design. They log in, they do their dailies, play with friends maybe even finish meta events and log off. And there's nothing wrong with that.
How would you even know that? There's no statistics that prove your claim. Are you like going off of vibes? And again, no shade to this dude, like it's great, he's awesome, but how would you even know that? Like, that's such an odd claim. I don't really get that. I really don't know where he gets his information from. every single piece of information he's given us until now is like false. Like straight up false. Like humans don't work like that. Humans don't operate like that. It's just assuming that every single person on planet Earth is a monolith. It just doesn't make any sense. Yeah, sorry guys, I forgot to read some of your comments. Yeah, thinking about WoW videos I used to watch for fun. Swifty, fun one-shot macros were taking down 5 people. Yeah, wow, these were the days, bro. It's crazy. Lazy, useless, blue-hair developers working in ArenaNet don't want to, don't want to actually work. Yeah, people like that. I guess, yeah, people like them. Wait, what? Oh, work in a day of life type of nonsense. I agree. And I'm glad they're getting fired en masse right now. I've been waiting for videos like Pint WoW videos for years. Yes, Pint is a legend. When he moved to Final Fantasy XIV, I was actually happy because I played FF14 at the time, and I was so stoked to see that. Yeah, actually, I watch everything seems interesting about the game, not the only thing. Yeah, everyone is like that. Everyone is like that, and everyone is also glad to find out about new perspectives. So, even if someone is not really into meme videos, if you have a meme video, he might just watch it, and he might get hooked. Like, I did not expect to see Rose's video. Rose's video was, I think, the second Guild Wars 2 video I've ever watched, and it was amazing. Like, it was still to this day. I mean, no glazing for Rose because he's in the chat. I don't want to, I don't want it to seem weird. But it was like the best Guild Wars 2 video ever. To this day, it's the best Guild Wars 2 video. And it's so good, too. Like, so many people have watched it. So many people enjoyed it. So clearly, there is a crowd for it. There is someone out there who likes Guild Wars 2 and want to watch this type of stuff. So you can assume that more people want to watch different stuff than guides and patch notes. You have a market. It exists. So it's just like really, really weird.
In fact, it's one of the reasons the community is so relaxed. But it also means fewer people regularly consume Guild Wars 2 content outside of the game, and that has a much bigger impact than many people realize. Once you've been creating Guild Wars 2 content for a while, something interesting starts to happen. You begin noticing patterns, not just what you upload, but in what almost every creator uploads. Patch notes, build updates, expansion and Guild Wars 3 speculations, maybe some showcases, balance changes, maybe the occasional tier list. And before long, it feels like everyone is making the same kind of videos. Now,
yes.
Don't get me wrong here. There's absolutely nothing wrong with those videos. I make many of them myself as well. The question is, why do so many creators end up in the same niche? Is it because that's all they want to make? Or is that because those are simply the videos that people click? Personally, I think it's much closer to the second option. When a patch drops, people want answers. Is my build good? What changed? Should I buy this or that? What does this mean for Guild Wars 3? Those videos naturally perform better because they are tied to something happening right now. And when you see one type of video consistently outperform another, it's hard not to make more of them. Not because you're chasing views for the sake of it, but because you're trying to keep your channel alive. So instead of asking whether the algorithm is shaping Guild Wars 2 creators, I almost think it's more accurate to say that viewer behavior shapes the creators. Creators simply adapt. Now, this isn't something unique to Guild Wars 2.
Again, that's not true. If that was true, Mr. Beast would have never made it to like 5 million subs. You need to be a trailblazer. You need to create something new for your audience. Yeah, you can be a trend chaser and it can work for a certain time period, but it never lasts for long. Eventually the wave will wear off and you'll be crushed on the shore. You need to do something different because that's how evolution on YouTube works.
Almost every content creator deals with it at some point, but I think Burnout in Guild Wars 2 has its own version. Let's start with the game itself. If you ever decided to grind several legendary items back to back, you might know what I'm talking about. Now imagine doing that while also making YouTube videos, because there's something many people don't think about. When you're becoming a YouTube content creator, you're actually spending surprisingly little time playing the game itself. Instead, you're scripting, recording, editing, uploading. Suddenly, content creation becomes much more than just playing Guild Wars 2. And here's where it starts to hurt. Imagine spending 20 hours editing a video. You pour everything into it. You rewrite parts of the script multiple times. You improve the pacing. You record better voiceover. You polish the thumbnail. You upload it and eventually release it. And it gets 2,000 views. Now compare yourself to someone covering a much larger game. Maybe they upload a funny challenge, a speedrun, a story reaction, even a simple discussion. With the same amount of effort or sometimes less, they reach 10.
Rose, how many hours have you spent on the Guild Wars 2 video? Like just for the sake of like proving this guy wrong again. Just how many hours did it take you approximately? I'm interested. Let's hear this. Let's hear this.
Times, 100 times the audience. That's a difficult comparison not to make, especially when you genuinely believe in the game you're covering. This is where many creators start asking themselves a dangerous question. Maybe I just need to chase the algorithm. Maybe I should upload more often. Maybe I should make shorter videos. Maybe I should make more clickbaity videos.
Yeah, okay. Geez, like over 300 bare minimum on 2 accounts. So, 300 hours, okay? Imagine if Rose told to himself, I think that was your first video, right? Feel free to correct me about this if I'm wrong. It was your first video about Guild Wars 2, obviously, not like generally. Imagine if Rose thought to himself, damn, this video may only get 1k views. Imagine if it didn't came up with an innovative brand new thing that people may or may not enjoy. Imagine, he would have never had that success. Never. So this guy, what he's telling us right now is you should never take any effort to make a new video because that video might flop. This is the most, I'm sorry, again, no shade to him, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. You can never think you're like that. You can never allow yourself to fall into that obscurity because that way, nobody will create great content. If you're not willing to put in the time and the effort because you feel like you might fail, then yeah, obviously, it's going to be bad for you. If I would have thought like that myself, I would have flopped. And don't get me wrong, right now, I had like the best month of my entire YouTube channel up until like a couple of weeks ago. And then YouTube changed the algorithm, and my views were cut in more than half. Do you see me giving up? Do you see me stop editing my own videos? Do you see me stop editing shorts for days on end? No, I'm pushing even harder. Because that's how you win the game. That's how you play it. You can't allow yourself to fall into the mentality of, oh, I might fail, so I'd rather not do something complicated at all. It's redundant. Why would you even think this way? It's a waste of time. A time you could have invested into making your videos better. So I don't see his point at all. Absolutely. I don't see any of his points. It's just like, this guy's so close to getting it right, and he just like take a hard right turn. It's just insane. It's mind-boggling to me. Yeah, you'll notice that he refuses to blame himself for any problem. It's always everything that's an issue. True. I mean, I don't blame like anyone but myself either. The only reason I'm not like a huge thing yet is because I messed up. But I'm learning each and every day. And now there's a new algorithm. I'm gonna learn that. That's how you adapt, man. Like, you adapt and grow. And you can definitely do that inside of the Guild Wars 2 community.
Maybe I should stop making the content I actually enjoy. And honestly, I understand why people feel that way. I don't think I've reached that point myself. I've always had the mindset of staying consistent and enjoying the process. Uploading regularly has helped me keep moving forwards instead of focusing on individual videos. But I completely understand why new creators get disencouraged, especially in this Guild Wars 2 space. Imagine putting your heart into a video only for it to disappear after a day because YouTube never pushes it. That feeling can make people quit long before they even find their audience. And every time that happens, Guild Wars 2 loses another creator who genuinely wanted to contribute to the community. That's the part I find really sad. Just make better videos. That is a comment that I get all the time. Yes, and I think they are not incorrect.
Just make different videos. They don't have to be better at start. Just make something different and go along from there.
Quality of your videos matters. But the size of your audience matters as well. And yes, luck matters too. Sometimes a video takes off for reasons you can't.
Dude, I really hate the size argument. Like, oh, wow, D's better than mine. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can be a very, very successful content creator within a niche and succeed. By the way, Guild Wars 2 shouldn't be a niche. And part of the reasons why it's niche is because people, like those weird content creators, think like that. That's the problem. That's why Guild Wars 2 is a niche, by the way. Mostly it's on ArenaNet. It's definitely on them. But again, it's like, you know, you can't think like that. Because people who are outside of Guild Wars 2 community watched Rose's video, and I'm sorry for using Rose's video as an example, it's just like the best one I have. Many people outside of Guild Wars 2 watched this video and enjoyed it. And I bet more people came through Rose's video to play Guild Wars 2 than any ArenaNet marketing video in the past decade.
fully explain. Sometimes a video you were incredibly proud of barely gets noticed. That's just how YouTube works. And I think that's important to acknowledge, because otherwise creators end up blaming themselves for things they don't fully control. Guild Wars 2 is already a niche. MMOs are a niche within gaming, and gaming itself is only one category on YouTube. So you're operating in...
Why are you blaming the entire world? Oh my god, I hate this victim mentality. I hate victim mentality so much. I hate it. It's the game fault, it's the world fault, it's the audience fault, it's a niche, it's arena. Bro, for the love of God, make the game better. Like, you can do that. You have the power. You're a well-established content creator. You can do this. What are you talking about? Be a trailblazer. Do something new, do something fresh. Even if you get like 50 viewers, do it. It might pay off in the future, in the long run. You might even inspire someone to do something different, and this person will succeed. Like, that's why I really don't like it when Mukla gave up on his crafting series. I forgot how it was called. Like, the solo crafting series. It's really disappointing. I really wish he would continue that. That was cool. But I get it, right? Because people are chasing trends. And that's so unfortunate. Because he's such a great content creator, and I really wish to see more.
At multiple layers of small audiences. That means almost everything has to line up. The audience, the topics, the thumbnail, the titles. Even what other creators uploaded that week. When one of those pieces is missing, your video might never reach the people it was made for. And after enough of those experiences,
yeah, hardcore craft log, exactly.
Burnout starts creeping in again. But there's another reason I haven't mentioned yet. In my opinion, it's the biggest one. Guild Wars 2 doesn't create urgency. Ironically, one of the game's greatest strengths might also be the biggest challenge for creators. Let's talk about why that matters. Think about it. In many MMOs, taking a break feels expensive. If you're gone for a few weeks, you're behind on gear, progression, or whatever the newest systems happens to be. Guild Wars 2 is the complete opposite. You can disappear for 6 months, maybe even a year, and come back and you start right where you left off.
Good, so now I'll make a spin on you. Now I'm about to turn the tables on him. Guild Wars 2 is horizontal and content is always relevant. Good, you know what? That means that a video from a decade ago is still relevant nowadays. Boom. Boom! There we go, just like that. You have no FOMO. Great. Okay, awesome. Play on the other side. Do that.
That's fantastic for players. It means the game respects your time. But for content creators, it creates a completely different challenge. Because if players don't need to stay up to date, they also don't need to watch every single new video. There isn't that feeling of, I have to watch this guide today or I will fall behind. There isn't a constant chase for the next item level. There isn't another gear reset every few months. Horizontal progression is one of Guild Wars 2's greatest strengths. Ironically, it's also one of the reasons reoccurring current content is harder to sustain. Once you've learned something, you've often learned it for good. If you mastered fractals, chances are you won't need another fractals guide the next month or years to come. That's wonderful game design. It just doesn't generate the same repeat viewership that other games naturally do. And I think this leads to one sentence that perfectly sums up the entire discussion. Guild Wars 2 respects your time. The algorithm doesn't. That really is the heart of the issue. YouTube rewards constant attention. Guild Wars 2 doesn't ask for that. And there's another challenge that I don't think
YouTube wants quality. YouTube algorithm works in various ways. You can be like a daily content creator, which obviously is very, very difficult to do with Guild Wars 2, but you can be a quality content creator. You can be that one guy who drops a video every month and disappear into the ether. You can be that guy. And YouTube will reward you promptly for it if you do it right. So, already, like, another wrong point. Like, this guy is like, his entire arguments, they're starting off true, and then he just, like, completely misconstrued the entire thing.
It's talked about enough. Guild Wars 2 players value authenticity. People want honest opinions, useful guides.
No, they want to lie straight to their faces. People want you to tell them that the game is good even though dungeons are irrelevant and the entire story is written by Labubu millennials and woke Karens. So, you can be honest, but to a certain extent.
Real discussions, creators who genuinely understand the game, and I love that. But YouTube doesn't only reward authenticity, it rewards entertainment as well. That's much harder balance to strike. Making a build guide is one thing, making that build guide entertaining after you already made dozens of similar videos, that's much harder. The same goes for tier list discussions or balance reviews. Eventually you start asking yourself, how do I make this feel fresh again? And that's why I think Guild Wars 2 still has room to grow, and I myself personally as well. I'd love to see more content creators experimenting. More challenges, more storytelling, more creative editing, not just because guides aren't valuable, They absolutely are, but because different kinds of content helps keeping a community alive.
I
There's one
agree.
final point I want to mention.
But how can you say that after saying everything that preceded that point? I mean, it's just the inconsistency that kind of gets me. I'm not gonna lie. It's so weird. Like, yeah, you're absolutely right. We need a different type of content. But everything you said until that point negates it. So I don't know what he's talking about here. It's just, I'm so confused. I'm just confused.
Veteran players are surprisingly difficult to reach, and I don't mean that in a negative way. Many long-term Guild Wars 2 players simply play the game if they want to. They don't spend hours watching YouTube videos about said game. They aren't actually checking Twitch every evening. They might, but on YouTube it's way less. I've generally heard people say...
How do you know that? I generally heard... It's like me using the argument of, oh, someone told me on Reddit. How would you even guess that? It just... You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of that video I made and I got like clowned upon in the comments about Guild Wars 2 because I said that Guild Wars 3 doesn't look promising and everyone like typed racial slurs in chat for me. Not in chat, like the YouTube comment section. And like people told me like we don't want you in this community, and everyone like told me we don't want you and Asmongold in this community. And it's like, how do you even know that? I like want to say I have a fairly large Guild Wars 2 community that watches my videos, that watches my content. So already your statement is false. Bro's videos and views are just a proof that you're wrong. So how can you say that the community rejects me, even though it doesn't? It's like, you can't listen to one madman screeching on the mountaintops. It doesn't make any sense. I don't understand where this guy gets his information from, like Twitter's?
I haven't watched a Guild Wars 2 video in over a year, even though they played daily. It might surprise you because it means some of the most dedicated players aren't regularly consuming Guild Wars 2 content outside the game. Instead, it's often newer players or players trying to improve who make up the biggest audiences for guide and discussions. That naturally limits how large the overall content ecosystem can become. At this point you might be wondering, if it's really this difficult, why keep doing it? Honestly, because I love this game. I genuinely think Guild Wars 2 is one of the most underrated MMOs available today. I want more people to discover it. I enjoy helping new players. I enjoy explaining mechanics. I enjoy talking about game discussions, builds, but also game design. I even enjoy talking about the game's problems because those conversations can lead to improvements via the developers. Content creation also has introduced me to people I never would have met otherwise. It's helped me build friendships, pushed me to become better at speaking, editing, writing and communicating. So despite everything I've talked about so far, I still think creating Guild Wars 2 content is worth it. Not because it's easy, but because seeing someone comment, "Your guide finally helped me understand this," or "Your video got me into Guild Wars 2, makes all those hours feel worthwhile for me.
He's
The challenge
right.
isn't loving the game, the challenge is building something sustainable around it. I also want to make one thing very clear. This video isn't about me, it's not about one creator, it's about the ecosystem, because I think every Guild Wars 2...
You're not the ecosystem. All you gave us is personal perspective, which I respect. Obviously, that's what you should do. You are a content creator and you should give your opinion. But you made it sound like it's an overall blanket statement. That's the problem I have. That's the entire issue I have with this video. It's the premise that every single Guild Wars 2 player are one and the same. They're like hive mind. And that's not true. They're different people. They're different players. They might like different stuff. But you speak like it's a homogenized group of people that all think the same. Which is clearly not the case.
Creator experiences at least some of these challenges. Different creators will have different experiences, of course. Some channels grow much faster than others. Some find their niche very early on. But the overall challenge will remain surprisingly similar, and that's why I think they're worth talking about. I remember Mighty Teapot saying something on stream that really struck me. He said you shouldn't start making Guild Wars 2 content if your main goal is making money. And honestly, I completely agree. If your only motivation is earning an income, there are much easier paths. A lot of them.
I generally would have said, like, if your entire thing is getting money off YouTube and that's why you want to make videos, then you're bound to fail anyway. You should have a passion for it. You should have passion for content creation, but maybe that's just, like, a me thing. I don't know.
2 is a niche. MMOs
it's not a Guild Wars 2
thing. So financially, it's a difficult road. But if you love the game, if you enjoy helping people, if you enjoy editing videos and making content for the community, then absolutely go for it. It's one of the most rewarding creative hobbies I've had. Just don't measure your success only by views. Measure it by the people you help, the conversations you start, the community you build. Those things last much longer than a spike in analytics. So what's the truth about Guild Wars 2 content creation? It's not difficult because the game is failing. Far from it. In fact, the game feels healthier today than it has in years. I've seen it on my own channel. The audience is growing, the interest is growing. More people are discovering Guild Wars 2 again. The challenge isn't convincing people that the game is good.
Isn't the numbers of players is literally the same? And it hasn't changed in like, I don't know, which expansion was it? Like Iceberg Saga or something? Like, barely any new people are coming to Guild Wars 2. And that's due to the fact that the onboarding system is like one of the most atrocious thing in the world, which, granted, they are going to change that, including the Zaiten fight, so, you know, finally, kudos to you, I'm glad they're doing that, that's a huge update. But generally speaking, the audience is very, very stagnant. Extremely stagnant. Even the Steam release didn't do really anything. It just added like maybe a couple of thousands of players and that's it, and it's not even that great. But Guild Wars 2 shouldn't be playing in the tens of thousands. Guild Wars 2 should have millions of active players. I believe it can pull this off. I believe in Guild Wars 2. I think it's a great game. I think it's a fantastic game at certain points. It shouldn't be on the fringes. Guild Wars 2, unironically, should be the king of current MMOs. World of Warcraft is in the dumpster. I know, because I wait for Classic like the Messiah. And there's nothing in sight, okay? Classic Plus may or may not be a thing. I think it will be a thing, but, you know, it's modern day Blizzard we're talking about, so it might just suck balls, and we can't really rely on that. Guild Wars 2 can be great. It can be great. It can easily have millions of players. ArenaNet just need to pick up the mantle and start doing something about it.
The challenge is creating videos about a game that doesn't constantly demand its players' attention. And honestly, that's one of the reasons I love Guild Wars 2 so much. It lets you play when you want, take breaks when you need them, come back without feeling punished. Those same strengths make life harder for creators, but I wouldn't trade them for another MMO's endless gear treadmill, because in the end I don't think the creators who succeed are simply the ones chasing every patch. They are the ones who find stories worth telling, the ones who make people laugh, the ones that actually teach people something useful. And I think that's a much better goal. If you enjoyed this discussion, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it as well. Do you agree with these points?
I mean, he's right about that, but you now what? Whoa, he's so inconsistent. He said something very true. He said, I think that, well, let's hear it again.
To make people laugh, the ones that actually teach people something useful. And I think that's a much...
You're absolutely right. The people who are going to make it are people who makes people laugh, people that teach them something useful. True. People that show something different, but everything you said until this point is just negating that point you just made, which is like very, very odd, because you just said, okay, everyone should chase the trends because that's how YouTube rewards viewers. A content creator, sorry, but with viewers. It's like, what are we talking about here? That's like very, very odd. Anyway, okay, I guess we're done with this video, but anything you wanted to kind of do to talk about this? This was very weird. It was like a lot of ups and downs. It was a lot of ups and downs. I'm not really sure what to say about this. I mean, I already said what I had to. Yeah, I'm not a huge Teapot fan, but every single person to do something about PvP, even organize tournaments and event-based. That's good. That's definitely good. Yeah, I mean, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. Wait, said the guy who all taps to WoW while playing Guild Wars 2? Who, me? Oh, no, Teapot? Yeah, I was like, you're talking about me, dude? Like, I don't play World of Warcraft? The game sucks. I'm not going to pay for, like, another month of World of Warcraft. Which is insane. Community equal ArenaNet moderation team? Exactly. Exactly. They're cultivating their own community. Just like World of Warcraft. Just like World of Warcraft. Unfortunately, in World of Warcraft, somehow, you know, the toxic PvP, like the Red Empire, still survives, but I don't know how that works. Like, people who said Asmongold in chat getting banned or dropped an F-bomb once. So, I guess it's just a matter of preference. But they're cut from the same cloth. It's the same bunch of weirdos that are doing all of these weird contrived stuff. It is what it is.